Oh, video time. Yeah, sorry. A lot of videos today. Anyway, I thought I'd talk about the modern mystic, just because I'm going to miss him. So yeah, I'll probably find him. I mean, he's not going to be gone, I guess. He still does the Over the Peak thing. So I'll post a link to his Over the Peak website. He still does the economic videos, and maybe he'll throw in philosophy somewhere. Maybe he'll have something. Or there's pieces in, there are pieces of it sometimes in his economic videos, but yeah, they are kind of thin. Anyway, I just thought I'd make a video because Nick was a huge part of my YouTube existence. It was fun. It was really an enjoyable first year on YouTube, when me and Nick were having conversations about the brain, and it's a less political kind of discussion. It's a less, connected to anything decisively judgmental about the game of life. But there was some of that in there. But it was just sort of trying to get to the roots of consciousness, the function of the mechanism, how it motivates and how it stores, and how it how it cognates. How the wheels and the gears turn. And we came up with all kinds of metaphors, disk drives and hard drives, and those were good times. Matt, Thou Art That, was also part of those conversations, and Darwin's hamster would chime in now and then. And for me, like I said, those were the, I'm not going to say golden years, because I think I think the subject needed to become bigger in terms of its focus, on the meaning of what consciousness is doing, not just the function of consciousness, or the function of our brain. Because the biggest part of our brain, the biggest part of what's going on for you, is not happening consciously. It's being created in your subconscious. The mechanics are not conscious mechanics. They just project it into this aware realm. And you, just like me, I'm always surprised. Oh, this is me? This is me talking? This is how I talk? This is what I say? And sometimes I'm quite surprised about what the gear work fling, even using the word fling out into the rest of the universing. So anyway, some some point in our conversations, me and Nick, we would have some contention, and it got severe sometimes, and I didn't realize certain things about Nick, and so I handled things a little poorly. I didn't see him as being very sensitive, and he is, and I'm grateful for that knowledge, actually, and I'm regretful, that I didn't pick up on that and change my tone a little. But anyway, these were sort of important subjects. And in the last philosophical volley that we had, I thought was pretty productive, and he found it very disappointing. And so that was kind of, it was almost awkward, but it sort of generates around the same thing, is that Nick basically argues that, although consciousness is something, it's nothing more than what's happening in these plants and this whole biology and this universing idea, the idea of a universe just universing, that matter will go through its run, and we as cogs, as pieces, as pawns, will move our moves, and that's it. And I completely agree with it in terms of the idea that it's already destined, but the destiny is still part of, we're still players. We still have to act out our role. We still have to push the buttons and say the words that are part of whatever our destiny would be. So, the very idea of saying it's not worth talking about, but you can't really change it, well, the argument is, I would argue, is that's part of what the reality is going to be, is the change, or the conversation. And if you don't do it, then, you didn't read that script. And that script would have changed everything. So the fact is, we're still players. You can't just sit back and watch it. You still have to play your role. I don't know how to explain it any differently than that, except that you can't go back in the past, and because you know what's going to happen, change your behavior, and then expect the future to remain the same. Of course it would change if you changed how you behaved. So yeah, just common sense that you have to read your script. So it's certainly an important conversation, and yeah, I just don't see how you can take that element out of it. The other element is that Nick has a different understanding or way of internalizing as a reality, as a fact, the idea of feelings. For Nick, they're not so value associated, and I just can't understand that. I see a huge distinction between the sensation of comfort and other sensations. Everything else, comfortable ones and the rest, or enjoyable ones, and we'll say the rest. I can put them in categories like that, and the category is incredibly important. Not a little bit important, not important, but yeah, very important. Like, the most important thing in the universe is what's happening to the sentient creatures. The rest of the universe is just universing, and who the fuck cares? But the feeling thing, that's where the game is. That's the real mass, the real weight, the real gravity, the real everything. It generates through having this feeling, hurtable, harmable organism existing. So anyway, I'm giving way too much context here, I guess. Just reciting a little history and just get an idea of the disagreements between me and Nick. But I'll argue now in that we agreed about so much. And I like Nick as a person, as a human being. And I miss the conversation already. I've already had to resign myself that, he doesn't want to do the philosophy thing for a while, but I figured it would just be a vacation. And the fact that he didn't post any notice, really, that I noticed, and that, to annihilate all the old videos is a statement, and you can't, it's so hard to figure out what that is saying. You get the indication that he's saying fuck you, or he's saying fuck what was, fuck what I said, fuck the interaction. There's a lot of videos and a lot of comments, thousands. I think he had 2,000 videos. Fuck. Fuck. That's all. What can I say? And a lot of them very substantive, I thought. Very valuable. Something somebody maybe could do something with in the future. In terms of putting these concepts, or even the analogies and the metaphors. So many valuable metaphors lost. So many approaches to attempting to weed through the bullshit to get to what we are. And there was just so much in that content, and I lament its destruction. It's painful. I just can't see it as anything else but my house burning down or something. Obviously it's not that dramatic, but I just mean it as a, it's real. It's a real value lost. Yeah. So anyway, so I'm just going to lament that and say, what the fuck, Nick? But like I said, he would have said something. If he wanted to talk about it, he would have talked about it. If he had something to say, he would have said it. So I guess in not saying, it's not much different than me blocking somebody or something. There's an obvious statement there, which is, I don't need this shit. I don't value this shit. I don't want this shit. I mean, he wouldn't have thrown it in the bin if it wasn't, in his opinion, suitably defined or described as garbage. Hey, look at that, finally. I've seen more frogs in the swimming pool than in nature this year. Finally a frog. Yeah, it's too dark for the other camera, so I won't bother macroing the frog. And it's just a frog, for cripe's sakes. Really nothing to get excited about. But there really has been no nature this year. I haven't seen one turtle, which is, I think this is the first summer I can remember off the top of my head. But, you know, the summer's not over yet, so we got hope yet. But, yeah, I don't recall a year without turtle. I mean, not one turtle. Come on. That's terrible. I haven't even seen, that's not a one. Haven't seen one. Anyway, enough of a whine there. So anyway, yeah, what else can I say? I guess I'll just talk more about the idea of the conversation and how I would like to continue that conversation. I mean, it was all kind of draft sciencey. But yeah, there's so much value in doing that in terms of really understanding and seeing ourselves. I mean, Nick sort of pushed the idea of there not being an I. You know, there's no little man inside of you controlling you. You know, there's little programs controlling you. Little bits of software. Reflexes, essentially, I would say. That's not Nick's argument, but at least mine. That they're just knee jerks, basically. And there are a bunch of knee jerks connected to knee jerks connected to knee jerks. So if a certain 50 knee jerks go off, they trigger 10 others. And if those 10 others go off with one other, then that, you know, triggers another knee jerk. That triggers the other 50 in feedback, which makes that negate the first knee jerk. Yeah, I mean, they're all connected, interconnected, feedback all over the place, but it's all reflexes. Every word, every experience, your consciousness reflexes to it. It does the opposite but equal reaction thing. It goes in, it bounces around, changes the configuration of the flippers and the little knocker downers in the pinball machine. So when the next ball pops in, it'll do different things. And you know, one thought in the morning will knock down one thing, thought in the afternoon knocks down another, and then another thought later knocks down the third, and a little beep, 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 you know, bingo, bingo, you win. A little sign goes off or something, and you know, 15 cents pops out or whatever. What's weird about pinball machines, the old ones, you know, when you won a new game, the machine used to just make this obnoxious knocking sound. It would just go knock really loud. And it was just kind of a funny thing. You'd think they'd have some other, I mean, it was just such a weird sound. You know, it didn't really sound like victory. It kind of sounded obnoxious and annoying. And so that's kind of funny. That became the standard. But anyway, that's a whole different subject. No one even know what I'm talking about. Because shit, there hasn't been a real pinball machine for like 50 years. Well, not that long. 30 years. Now where am I? Yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, Nick. That's right. Brains. Yeah, so he did that whole not the I thing. You know, there's no real I. You know, that you're a brain. And you know, that we're just, and then he also kind of got to the point too, the one I found really valuable was this notion that in all likelihood I have more power to fuck somebody else's brain up, to change the gearworks in your head, than I have power to fuck up my own brain, quite obviously. I can't stimulate my brain with new information, or my brain could take more time and come up with some kind of new stuff, but it all comes from within it. It's the stuff that comes from the outside in. That seeds the most change, that seeds the most improvement or elevation or function even. So I mean, I can stimulate greater function in your brain than I can do for my own. And that's a very powerful bit of knowledge to have in life, that you have a great power to influence others, and that they too have the power to seep into your gear work and fuck you up. Yeah, and oblige you to pass a new test that your brain can't write, no matter how much you think you've cleaned out the bugs. It's always good to have somebody, some other exterminator show up and show you where there might be a bug or two still hiding in there. That's good stuff. So anyway, just basically I like Nick, and I'll miss his YouTube channel, and yeah, it's not much else to say. Just kind of disappointing, sad, and causes me some cognitive dissatisfaction, to call it, not dissidence. But anyway, yeah, I don't like it. That's what we'll say. I don't like it. But there's a lot of things I don't like, and I have to live with them. Reality sucks. Change sucks. Life sucks. Dog do sucks. Diarrhea sucks. What else? So many things suck. A big, long, horrible list. We'll just stay away from that. We'll just declare that things suck. A bunch of things do, in fact, suck. Kid whapping baseballs all day. Sucks. Yep. Anyway. Guess you have to whap something. I can think of better things. But anyway. It's what human beings do. So until the next time. And such.